everybody. Good afternoon. Lovely to see so many of you here today. So yes, welcome to the first day of National Intern Week. My name's Heather, I'm from Career Map and I'm your host for this session, which is held by EY. So today in this session, we'll be discussing the opportunities that are available at EY, hearing from some members of the team who've undertaken an internship, and really get an understanding of the application process as well. So before I hand over to the team, I'll just do a little bit of housekeeping for you. You may have noticed already there's a sticky note at the top of the chat box. That is a link that will take you through to a form where you can express to receive further information on the programmes that we're going to discuss today. So that's where that is. In terms of resources going forward, the session is being recorded and it will be emailed to you as well. So don't worry about missing out on anything or blinking you miss it moments. However, if you do think it'd be helpful to take some pictures of some slides, then do, and you'll have it to hand immediately. But aside from that, this is my cue really just to hand over to the team. Yes, by the way, this will be finishing at 4. I've just seen that question in the chat. Hand over to the team and yeah, see you towards the end of the session.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Heather, indeed. So welcome, everybody. Absolute pleasure to have you on the call this afternoon. I will be hosting for the next hour. Got some great content to go through. And on top of that, we also have a phenomenal graduate panel with some of our former interns who have made the jump across from being an intern to a fully fledged graduate with EY as well. Just to go through, I guess, a little quick agenda with you today of what we're going to be covering. The agenda today is as follows. We're going to be looking at our undergraduate and graduate programs first and foremost, doing a bit of a deep dive into the application process as well. Alongside that, you'll be hearing from 2 of our recent graduates, as mentioned as well. In terms of us and who we are this afternoon, my name is Graham Butler. I'm one of our student recruitment managers for EY, based up in Edinburgh, Scotland, but cover the whole of the UK. And we've also got Hania Imram and also Andy Klassen as well, who are part of our strategy and transactions and tax service lines as well. And they're going to be here to answer all the questions that you may have in regards to those specific service lines, as well as their experience of working at EY, the culture, why they chose to join us, why they're still here, what they enjoy about the program, and maybe some of the challenges that they have first and foremost as well. Now, just to kind of go through in a little bit more of a deep dive of what we'll be covering today, more of an introduction to EY, so who we are, what we do, what is professional services lines, what is professional services and industry, and what are our service lines, looking a little bit more at our culture as well as DE&I, and then looking a lot more into our program specifically, as well as our opportunities. And then, as said as well, looking at our application process, what to expect and how best you can prepare as well once you go through there as well. Wonderful to see so many of you on the call today as well. It's always great to present to a large scale audience as well. So great that we've got almost 600 people who've tuned in for this one as well. So always great to see that. So who are we? So I think it's first and foremost to say that, we are living in a time of great uncertainty at the moment. But what hasn't changed is the need for the uniquely human ability really to offer insight and empathy. That's what we feel at EY, whilst using technology as well, which is at the heart really of everything we do. And then here's where you come in. So at EY, our people work with more than 200,000 clients across 150 countries, which is pretty staggering, including some of the world's most iconic brands and exciting entrepreneurs. And it really is our ambition to deliver long-term value for both our clients, people, as well as society as well. Now, creating the value doesn't just help with today's challenges. It really moves clients forward into the next wave of innovation and technological and social change as well. And alongside this, it really does the same for our people. So we really empower people who work for EY to be really intentional in their careers and really seek out those experiences that will really help shape them into transformative leaders and leaders of the future. the kind of leaders that our world needs, leaders who have a purpose and are really able to bring out the best in themselves and others as well. So what does that mean? You know, we have over 365,000 people at EY globally, which is a huge amount of people, as well as 700 offices globally across 150 countries. So what does that mean for you if you're joining EY? You're joining both a highly successful organization, but one which has a global footprint as well. We hear many stories at EY of people further down their careers relocating or having the opportunity to work on projects abroad. And that's something that, you know, we're really proud of, as well as being one of the global leaders in the professional services industry too. So a little bit more info on that topic as well. Just give you a few stats of what it looks like from a UK perspective. So we had over 3,000 joiners in the last year, as well as 2,000 students who joined us as well across our 18 UK offices. Of course, we have offices in the major cities, as you'd expect, across the UK, such as London, which is our European HQ, and Manchester and Birmingham as well. But we have actually 18 offices across the UK in places such as including Southampton, Reading, Luton, Edinburgh, Aberdeen, to name but a few. And what that really means is that you have options. So whether you would like to be based in one of our major cities, if the program exists in that area, you can apply to that region. Or, you know, some of you may be living slightly more outside of the major cities. For example, you might be closer to Reading, and actually you would like to start your career in that region and that office, and that's an opportunity which is open to you as well. So when you apply to EY, you have the chance to choose where you apply to, which is fabulous because it really gives you that kind of element of control from the beginning. And we really see interns and, you know, Discovery Y, which is our 2-day feeder program, as the future of our business. And they're really there to really help support and guide the business along. And this is really echoed by Hugh Bell, who is our EY UK chair. And he really sees that, you know, our apprentice, graduate and internship programs provide students and school leavers with a great opportunity to gain that real hands-on experience whilst also enhancing their skills and gain a qualification. One of the unique things with EY is that if you perform really well on our summer internship or industrial placement, you will have the opportunity to come and join our graduate program as well, which is a very unique position to be in, but also something that we're really proud of, because it could mean that in your final year of university, you don't have to go through that very, very busy, stressful experience of having to find and locate another graduate position. You'll already have yours secured as well. So that's something just to be mindful of. So 18 offices and the chance to secure a graduate position if you are successful on your summer internship and industrial placement as well. So here's just a little insight into some of our regional offices we have. I've mentioned Luton, I've mentioned Reading, Newcastle and Southampton as a couple as well, nicely illustrated on the map there too, and a couple of other locations as well. We have Aberdeen, Edinburgh and Liverpool as well, just to really show you that we are a true multinational company, but also very much focused on, you know, that whole kind of UK remit as well. Now, just to fill you in a little bit more on what a career in professional services look like and the kind of work you'll do here. At EY, we are very much purpose-driven builders of a better working world. And that's a phrase that you'll see a lot across all of our media. And what we really aim to do, and our two graduates are going to be able to really explain a lot more about this, is it's all about how we can create long-term value for clients, for our people who work for us, and also society as well. And I think for us, what we are really keen to do is to, you know, really, redefine what a traditional career experience looks like, or something which is really linear and you join a company and stay in the same position for the whole time you're there. That doesn't really exist anymore. And the great thing with EY is you can actually have careers within careers. So what do we mean by this? We would say that nowadays, with everything changing in the world, traditional industry boundaries are being disrupted. Sectors converge and they're all adapting to both those technological and society changes as well. So as we really invent how we work, live and play, EY is really helping clients embrace industry disruption as an opportunity. What can they look to do differently? So regardless of which area, or we call them at EY, which service line you choose, you'll have the opportunity to gain experience in one or more industries. So you'll be able to work cross-industry. And we've, very much, compared to a lot of our competitors, invested differently in an industry structure which is very different. We've got global industry centres around the world, which is very different to a lot of our competitors. It goes without saying. So our global industry centres really serve as, I guess, virtual hubs is the best way to describe it, for sharing industry-focused knowledge and experience as well. And in addition, it really helps us better meet the needs of our customers and clients and win in the market, which is what our business succeeds to do, and really provides structure for unique opportunity for us as well. So to give you a little bit more flavour of what that looks like, and I'm very mindful this is quite a complex slide. So at EY, one of the things that we offer, which is very unique, is our financial services business. So this is a unique differentiator for EY. And what this does, it really focuses our client base on banking and capital markets, insurance, wealth, and asset management as well. And it was really formed to help ensure that we're providing an exceptional client service, both short, medium, and long term, in an ever-changing environment, especially from a regulatory perspective. So you can work in any EY service line and be part of financial services. It just really depends on your preference. So just to give you an idea there. And then as part of our government and public sector team, which is, again, a very unique division that we have at EY, you'll help governments adopt digital technology, create new ways of working with the aim of achieving kind of better outcomes for citizens and better experiences for government workers as well. It goes without saying that we do have regional based industries that we work with, and some of those are listed on this slide here, including manufacturing, consumer goods, healthcare, oil and gas, power and utilities, private equity, to name but a few. And it'll be great when we speak with Hania and Andy just to really kind of understand a little bit more about some of the industries that they've had experience with as well, and maybe some that they're quite keen to get involved with and be part of going forward as well. And all of these are underpinned by our main service lines, which I'll explain in a little bit more detail, just because I can appreciate that it can be a little bit confusing at this stage, just with the amount of information being presented. So at EY, there is no predetermined career path. So what we have at EY is we have a much more, I guess it's a range of diverse options for people to achieve success in how you define them. So today we offer a much broader range of services than ever before to our clients, which translates really directly to more opportunities for our people. That said, our business is organised around some key service lines, and I'll break these down fully, but just to give you a bit of an overview, we have assurance, tax, strategy and transactions, consulting, and actuarial. So just to give you a very quick flavour, assurance typically is associated with looking at financial statements, quality of information, accuracy of information presented, and how companies can make decisions going forward. Tax, again, looking from a compliance standpoint, companies who are seeking out international tax advice as well. And Andy's going to be able to give us a bit more flavour on that as well. Hanya's going to really fill us in much more on what it's like to work in strategy and transactions and what that looks like from a futuristic point of view. And then we have our consulting division as well, which is really geared with companies who are looking to make futuristic decisions on their business. They may be looking to implement a new human resources system, for example. They might be looking at some efficiencies within their business. And it's EY's job as advisors to really consult them on how they can go about putting that new technology in place and what it looks like, and what are some of the implications and areas of opportunity that they should look at as well. One of our competitive advantages at EY is that we bring the whole of EY to our clients. So both our service line competencies, that sector knowledge, as well as data and technology to really help drive growth, help clients be compliant, which is really, really important nowadays, and as it always should be, but also be transformative and stay ahead of their competition as well. So that just really gives you an overview of the service lines or types of business that you could be involved with. I'm not going to spend the full time reading through these slides now in terms of what it's like to work in these divisions. But I think it's really important. Assurance is our largest division that we operate with at EY, and it does have its roots in accountancy. But that's really just the beginning. Whatever service line you'll be working with, in assurance specifically, you'll be working directly with EY clients, looking at their strategy, assessing that risk, looking at how they can forecast growth effectively, really providing companies and investors and regulators a lot of confidence. And that comes with using market-leading tech and analytics tools to provide companies, investors with a lot of confidence in what we do and how we do it and how we can do it in the best possible way. There's a nice little quote there from Chantal as well, who's based in our assurance division. And again, Andy's going to fill us in a lot more on tax, but it is about both looking at a local and global organization and level as well, from startups as well as huge multinationals, how they can manage every element of their business tax affairs and tax risk policies too. And then that lovely, insight into strategy and transactions. How can companies grow, transform, and be successful? And we ultimately advise them across all areas of their business. And it'll be great to hear from Hanya and how her and her team are really much involved on that pathway as well. Now, how on earth do we go about choosing what part of EY we're going to fit best into is a question that you may have. There we go. We're just going through those last bits there as well. So I think what I would say, EY, we have some really useful tools to help you along the way. One of those that we have is our brand new EY Adventure Awaits platform, which is really designed to set up, to showcase some really deep, immersive experiences that are going to give you a whole host of opportunities to learn about EY, our networks, our communities, meet our people, and explore some kind of well-being and application tips as well. There's loads of great content on that platform, which is eyadventureawaits.co.uk. It's recently just won an award for being really innovative. It's great fun. There's some little games that you can play as well as going on a full-on adventure. So it's definitely something I'd recommend having a look at if you have 5 or 10 minutes, some really great content on there. What I would also say, if you're not sure of which area to apply for EY, do have a look at our EY Pathfinder, because that is a great tool on our website where you answer a few questions based on your strengths. And what it's going to do is going to provide you with some output of what service line you would be best suited to. Now, I myself work in student recruitment as one of our student recruitment managers, but based off of the EY Pathfinder, if I did not work in that function, I should be based in technology consulting. So that's just something to consider. And that was quite interesting that I thought came out for myself. And then the other thing just to consider as well is that if you have some questions about working at EY and what that looks like, we have some really useful kind of live chat functionality where we host sessions where you can meet our recruitment team and managers similar to myself who are going to be on hand to answer any questions you have about working at EY as well, share experiences. You'll be able to meet some other graduates and interns as well. And we'll also share some hints and tips on that application process as well. Now, I'm just mindful of time because we're already 18 minutes through and we still have a lot of content to go through. But what I do want to call out at this point is that at EY, we do really pride ourselves on having a lot of opportunity and a lot of networks and communities across our business. We really want it to be a culture that everyone can be proud of. So what that means is we have multiple ability networks, multiple life networks, women's networks, LGBTQ plus networks, race and ethnicity networks as well. And the great thing is that you can be as active or supportive as you would like to be with these. Some of my colleagues are really deeply involved and hold positions within these networks. Others just want to help and support our events. But for us, we are a global organization, a powerful scale, but our office cultures are very still unique, and there is a very strong identity within a lot of our offices as well. So, for example, the Edinburgh office is quite different to the Aberdeen office, having visited both of those, for example, both in size and some of the local kind of charities and things that they support as well. So it's a great opportunity to really get involved if you would like to when you join EY. And it's something that's fully included in our induction as well, more information on our networks as well, alongside that too. What we'd also like to say at EY is that learning never stops. It never stops. One of the great things with EY is, we hope you're enjoying university. We completely appreciate that a lot of you are lifelong learners. So you do have the opportunity to undertake a tech MBA as well, which is fully covered by EY. And this is amazing. So a couple of my colleagues in student recruitment have just completed this as well. So this is in collaboration with Holt International Business School, but we offer you the chance to do a full-on MBA program free of charge, and that'll be covered by EY, which is a phenomenal cost as well. And it's a great thing to continue your learning. We have a whole host of digital badges you can complete, from sustainability to things like coding, advanced data analytics as well. And really kind of that's something that you can keep with you for a lifetime as well. And there's also a master's in sustainability as well, if you really want to continue and add additional MBAs to your portfolio as well, which is fully covered, which again is fantastic. And not every company offers you the chance to do that, is what I would say. And then on that, I guess on that basis is that for us, we just want you to be able to bring your whole self to work. We appreciate that joining a new company, there's a lot to take in. And there's a whole host of things you can choose to get involved with. Some of you may be real advocates on CSR or corporate responsibility. And there's a whole host of support that you can get involved with, charities you can be part of a fundraise, and general events that we have throughout. Others of you want to focus more on your work. And again, that's absolutely fine. And again, you can get as involved as much or as little as you like. And that's another one of the great things with EY as well. When it comes to some of our rewards and benefits, these are absolutely cracking. I can't say that they're not, because they really are. A great example is the £500 health and wellbeing benefit that every single person gets at EY. I've actually literally just spent mine on a very nice new upgraded home office chair. EY do provide absolutely adequate office chairs as well, but I fancy something a little bit different, so I've chosen to upgrade, and I've got a very nice gaming office chair for home. But you can use that for spa breaks, for theatre trips, and many other things as well, which count towards kind of health and well-being. Bike to work scheme, great example. Discounted gym membership, everyone's a fan of. But also in terms of, having a very flexible dress code policy. You can see today I'm not wearing a shirt and tie, dressing for my day, and that's really important, as well as a lot of, the areas of the business you can be flexible in terms of when and how you work, the hours that you work, as well as being on that very much hybrid approach to working as well. So I'll typically be in the office 2 to 3 days a week and work the other days from home, or be visiting university. So again, something which is really great and useful along that side as well. Now, in terms of our programs, we have both undergraduate programs as well as graduate programs. And I think just before we go into those, hopefully Heather should still be on the line, but it'd be great, Heather, if you would be able to play our first video. So just to give a little bit of context, Heather's going to play in just a moment. If you just give me a little countdown for it, but just to give everyone a little quick overview on the call, we recently just completed our summer internship program. And at the end of the summer internship program, we hosted a wonderful event where over 400 interns came together from all across the UK to really celebrate the end of their internship. It was a real marquee event, and we decided to capture it on video. So hopefully, Heather, if I can pass over to you, you can play that video, which really showcases what it was like to spend some time at EY at the end of your summer internship.
Absolutely. I'll start it now. Just a reminder to us on the call here to turn our mics off so there's no interference.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you very much for that as well. So that just really gave a bit of a flavour of what our end of summer internship event was about. We had some great food, lots of live entertainment. We had a silent disco. We had face paints, photo booths, you name it. And it was just a really great way for our interns to come together and really kind of sign off their internship in style. And amazingly so, the weather held firm as well. So we're really, really proud of that. And considering it was a week of train strikes, we pulled some absolute rabbits out of a hat to make sure that everyone got there and got home as well. So that was wonderful for everyone as well. So if that sounds like something you could be interested in, by all means, our summer internship programs have just opened. And those are perfect for university students in their penultimate year of university. So not your final year, the year before. So what does that mean? It means if you're studying a 3-year degree, it would be in your second year. If you're in a Scottish university, it would be in your 3rd year of university as well. But just to kind of give you a very quick overview of the different types of programs that we have, it starts off with our 2-day Discovery Why programs. Now, these consist of 2 insight programs, which are Women in Business and our Black Heritage in Business programs as well. And these are really designed for university students in their 1st year or 2nd year of a 4-year course who want to explore and understand more about EY. Now, these programs will actually be going live on our website at the end of October. And they're going to be hosted in kind of March, April time, as well as another one in August too. So do look out for those ones. But what I can say is we're really proud that our summer internship, which normally runs towards kind of middle to end of June all the way through in July, which is a 4-week summer internship, are live on our website, as well as our 12-month industrial placement as well, who are for students who have the option to do a placement year as part of your degree. So to give you an idea, in terms of summer interns, we'll be taking over 400 across the UK, and industrial placements will be around 50 this year as well. And then if you're successful in one of those programs, you'll have the opportunity to join our graduate program, or if you are unable to secure a place on those internships for whatever reason, you'll be able to apply directly to our graduate program as well, to which we have over 1,000 graduates join us every single year across the UK as well. What I would say, if you are joining this call and you are going into your final year, our graduate vacancies have also just launched as well. So you'll be able to apply accordingly there too. This slide has a whole host going on. We won't have time to go through this today, but what this does is just breaks down a little bit more on the types of sub areas within our main service lines or business areas that you can apply to. The best thing I'd recommend is going onto our main recruitment website to looking at these in more detail. What I would say is that with our programs, there's a whole host of professional qualifications that you can go through, whether it's CIPD, whether it's CIMA, whether it's ICAS or ICAEW, is a bit of a mouthful. These will really depend on the business area or graduate program that you are enrolled in. But if you do a 12-month placement with this, you will be able to begin your qualification process as well. And the qualifications that you undertake with EY are completed alongside your day-to-day role. But we will, of course, give you time away from the business in order to study. So you're not expected to do this on top of your daily workload as well. We do make sure that you have a whole host of time in order to do that as well. But when it comes to applying to EY, what is it that we look for? Now at EY, I think it's really important to call out that we operate on an open access policy. So we're not going to screen you out or reject your application on your academic performance alone. So what we're looking for at EY is that you're working towards an honours degree in any subject. Some programs of ours, which again, no time to go through today, but we'll look at another time, will require a specific degree towards a business area. But a lot of our programs are really broad. So you don't have to be studying a particular degree, and you don't have to be on track for a first or a 2-1. You are able to join EY if you do have a 2-2 as well. You do have to have a minimum of 4 C at GCSEs or the equivalent in English language and maths, and 3 A levels or 5 higher if you're based in Scotland to be eligible to apply. And if you want to kind of find out if there are any specifics, there's a link on our website there which kind of goes through that in a little bit more detail as well. What I would say though is at EY we do operate a forward-facing recruitment process. So what does that mean? It basically means, folks, that you're applying for a role that you've never done before. So asking you questions about the past isn't really going to help you on that one, because you're not going to have experience of being, a management consultant. It's very rare that would ever be the case. So this is why we assess people based on their strengths. So we assess you based on your potential and what we think your ability is going to be like in the future. So it's very much more forward-facing. Now, if you're looking at this list of 10, hopefully you're looking at and thinking, okay, there's definitely some of these strengths that I can align myself to, whether it is being a strong communicator, whether it is being a team player, or whether you're someone that's always seen as quite adaptable. These are some of the core strengths that we look for. Now, what I would say, and again, just to call out, we're not expecting you to be a 10 on all of these areas. That's just not realistic. But what we do look for is for you to meet a certain criteria when we're assessing you in order to meet our strengths, because these are strengths that have been identified that make very strong performers in our professional services industry and line of work that we work in. Now, what does that look like from an assessment perspective? And again, depending on the program that you've gone or applied to, it is going to be slightly different. But what I would say is that every single application form goes through and completes an application form. And again, I'll get onto that in just a moment of some info that's included. And then most of the programs now we've kind of consolidated have something called our EY1 or our job simulation numerical reasoning test, or CRT as well, cognitive reasoning test as well. And what do these do? Ultimately, we want to put you in as real life scenarios as possible so you can understand what it's really like to work in our industry. So there'll be some questions which will be numbers based. There'll be some questions which alongside that will put you in a scenario. And I've got a practice question that we'll go through very shortly alongside those as well. And then after you've completed those, and if you pass and meet our thresholds, you'll go through to our EY experience day, which is, the equivalent of an assessment day. We have a number of individual and group-based tasks as well. What I would say is there is a final interview as well that you have to go through in order to get onto our program as well, and we'll give you some tips along the way for that as well. But it's a streamlined process. A lot of it is self-serve, which really gives you that opportunity to really demonstrate and showcase your strengths as well. So the best advice we give candidates is as follows. For us, when you are putting your application form in, it's really important that you choose your preferred program of those ones mentioned, as well as the location that you're looking to work in. So what we always ask people is, what is your first choice location? What we'd also say is, if you are doing a summer internship, think about where you would like to do your graduate program and try to match those two up, because that just makes it as straightforward as possible. You can only submit one application form, so just bear that in mind. Please do proofread to ensure it's as accurate as possible. And if unfortunately you are rejected at this stage, you can reapply after 6 months after you've been rejected. When it comes to those online assessments, and there are several that you have to do and go through, please do try to find a quiet room. We do have a great platform where you can practice, and there's some links that you can test yourself as well. But also, what I would do is think about your motivation and reasons for applying, because there are some video responses that you need to respond to. So think about what it is about EY that really interests you about our industry, about our company, what it is that appeals overall. And again, practice those numerical reasoning tests. One of the main reasons that people fail is the types of questions that they come up against aren't something that they're very familiar with. So if you can, please do have a look and try and practice those as much as possible. And then those final stages, the virtual assessment center, and we are going back to some in-person assessment centers. There is some team-based assessments, so classic group-based exercises, as well as a written assessment as well. You will be provided with full information in advance, because I'm sure you can appreciate we can't share with you what that information is or what you cover, but it is classic kind of assessment center tasks they're not designed to trip you up, more just to give you some really good understanding of what to expect. And then the final interview, which is really looking at your motivations as well as your understanding of your key strengths as a person and why you'd be a good addition to the EY team as well. So on the application form, a great example question is, we are going to ask you to tell us who you are and why you want to be part of EY as an example. And then in terms of the EY1, as I've mentioned, what you can expect at this stage is this is where you kind of get into those real work-based scenarios to explore different aspects of your potential role and how your strengths will fit in and align with EY. And as you can see on this slide, we listed all the strengths that we'll cover as well. Now, the questions will differ a bit between numerical reasoning and analysis of hypothetical work-based scenarios as well. And with some of the questions, there is no right or wrong answer. So what I'm just going to do is go on to the question now. And what I'll do is I'll read through it first, and I'm just going to ask Heather to bring up the poll. So the question is this, and if you could all pay attention, because we're going to ask for a little bit of participation in a minute as well. It's Friday evening, and your team has been working on preparing a pitch. You're also working independently on writing a report for another client, which you promised to submit on Monday. One of your colleagues, Jessica, is struggling to complete the section on the pitch that she's been allocated, but you still have a lot of your own work to do. So on this question, as an example, what do you choose to do? Do you A, support Jessica and work with her to resolve the issues at the expense of your own work? Do you B, finish your own work as quickly as possible so you can help Jessica at the expense of a few minor inaccuracies in your own work? C, do you show Jessica the best way to complete her section of the pitch, explaining clearly how to do it and return to your own work? D, leave Jessica to complete her section of the pitch and concentrate on completing your report to the best of your ability? Or E, you assess the workload and skills of everyone in your team and see who's the best position to help Jessica with her pitch. So Heather, if you could just bring up the poll, I think you've done so already. It'd be great to see from a participation perspective which ones you go for. So if we've got just under 600 people on the call, it'd be great to see what are some of the answers that come back with. And this is great because it's live polling at the moment, so we can see how people are getting on. So
just to remind everybody, sorry to interrupt you there, I was just going to remind everybody that if you're looking for it, it's on the right hand side. And I will say sometimes the responses take a little time to come through to us. So bear in mind when there might be a bit of a delay.
That's absolutely fine. Not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. So we'll just give it a minute and just give people the chance to complete the polls there. To see what people have come back with. There we go. Interesting that no one's gone for A or B. C and E are the strong winners at the moment, with a little sprinkling of D. Does that then influence everybody else's approach? That is the question. Or is anyone bold and goes with B or A? That is the question. You do have the benefit of this one of seeing everybody else's answers as well. So we'll just give it a little bit more time just to see what people have come back with. And then we will go on. Okay, so let us move on. Okay, so the strongest answers, the heaviest answers were C and E. So on that basis, if you answered C would suggest that you are able to simplify complex information and explain it in a way others will understand, demonstrating the strong communicator strength. So that would have really demonstrated your strong communicator. If you went for option E, which is what a lot of you went for as well, you haven't put your own work in jeopardy whilst also ensuring that Jessica gets the help she needs, suggesting you're a team player as well. And those of you, the 5% who went for D, demonstrates a focus on quality and work towards the deadline provided by your manager as well. What you'll often find with a lot of these types of questions is there is no specific wrong or right answer. What we're just looking to do is understand your key strengths and where you lean towards on your answers along those ways. What I would say is, whichever role you choose to go into, having an understanding of numbers is important. And that's why the numerical reasoning test forms quite a lot of our assessment. Why is numbers important, may you ask, in professional services and consulting? So we measure numerical reasoning and numerical ability as we are looking for people who can really understand and interpret information in a wide range of formats. Some of it will be simple, some will be quite complex. In terms of how we operate as a business, when we offer value to our clients, we often do this by generating insight from data sets, and it really is key to the professional qualifications that we provide you access to as well. So the questions that you are asked for numerical reasoning will range both in subject and format, and you may have to select the answer from a list of options, or others, you might just have to type the answer in straight away, and it will be very focused on that way, or rank things in a particular order as well. So often these are the strengths, as mentioned, that we assess, and being number savvy is absolutely one of those as well. So what I've just done is we've put together a little example of a numerical reasoning test as well. And here is a worked through example. Those of you who are quick at maths, this will go through straight away. But here is just an example of the sort of information that you'd have to do. And this is a pretty simple percentage calculation. But what you will find, and I'll say this, is a lot of companies use numerical reasoning. And what that does is it means that the types of questions that you have come through are very similar as well. Just in the mindful of time, because we do have to move on to our graduate panel, just to kind of wrap up the EY Experience Day. What you can expect there is some group-based activities where you'll be having to reach a team consensus, and there'll be it is an interactive and engagement piece, so there will be some individual tasks, but think about a group-based activity as well, where you'll have some choices to be made. And then in terms of the final interview, you will be given some information in advance, and you have to lead in a discussion and a choice of topics to be able to demonstrate your presentation skills. And then after this, there'll be a broader discussion around your interest in EY, your motivations and your strengths alongside this as well. And then just in terms of some overview top tips, and what we would really recommend is, and I say this with everyone, and this isn't just for EY, this is some general great advice. If when you apply to EY, you don't have a clear ability to understand why EY and why you've chosen to apply to EY, we are probably not the place for you. And whichever company you apply for, that's probably the case. So if you're applying to somewhere on the basis that it is just a job, and I appreciate we all need a job, it is unlikely that you'll be successful in your pursuits, because what we're looking for is people that share our goal of building a better working world, very much linked to continuous development and professional qualifications, as well as having an interest and understanding of working with clients and communicating in that business setting. What I would also say is having a good understanding of your own personal strengths and maybe some areas of opportunity where you want to improve and develop on is also really useful. When we talk about commercial awareness, that involves everything from being able to understand financial statements to keeping up with the news, what's going on with the business news-wise, are key examples of that. And being able to make decisions which are practical and realistic as well. So if you're put in a scenario, a realistic scenario is not to spend 2 billion on a project. It's about what is a cost-effective solution. Again, think about location, where you'd like to be based. Do practice those online assessments and spend some time researching those business areas alongside that as well. So there is a whistle-stop tour in all things EY. I've just enclosed some links here as well, which will give you a little bit more info on our programs. And please do take a picture, copy and paste it, screenshot that, whatever you would like to do. But I just wanted to kind of share that as a as a little overview of some links alongside that as well. What I would just ask Heather to do, if you haven't done already and had a chance to see the chat function, we are going to be able to send you some follow-up communications after today. So hopefully, Heather, if you don't mind just popping that registration link in the chat, it's just going to ask you for some very basic data. And then what you'll be able to do is fill that in, and we'll be back in contact with you in the next week with more information on our program, as well as to invite you to some of our bootcamp sessions where you can find out more about EY and what it takes to be successful in professional services, as well as doing more of a deep dive into the application as well. So hopefully Heather's able to pop that into the...
I have done it, yeah, because there have been some really interesting questions, but quite specific. So what I've done is I've submitted that form link, and I've also directed the audience to, I think it is the same, the Ask Questions link, yes, where people can go and ask specifics to the team. So yes, this is in the chat now. Reminder to everybody that when we send the recording to everybody via email, we can include these links in there as well.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll probably do, Heather, because I can see there's loads of questions come through, and there is nothing worse than having unanswered questions. What I might just ask to do, if it's okay with you, Heather, is after the session, if you send me through the list of all the questions, and then I can get work back to people this week, because there's loads that have come through, just to make sure that everyone's questions are answered. Is that possible to do that afterwards?
Yeah, the only thing I would ask then is from the audience here, if they can private message, so Q&A only privately, with their email address that they would like us to contact on with their question, then that's going to be the easiest way to do it. Yeah,
no problem. We can get that to people that way. Perfect. Just because there's so many, and I'm very mindful of time as well. So if possible now, I'd just like to invite our wonderful panel back. So hopefully Annie and Hanya can join back. I'm just going to stop sharing slides there as well. Perfect. No problem at all. Let me just stop the slideshow presentation, and we can go through that way. So first and foremost, thank you for sticking with us, Annie and Hanya. It's great to have you on the call, as I'm sure all the potential interns who are on the call today would love to hear a little bit more from you. So I think what would be great, if you could just start off by doing a very quick introduction, who you are, which part of the business you work in at the moment, and maybe which course you studied at university as well. So Hanya, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, of course. So hi guys, I'm currently on my second year of the graduate scheme, having joined EY last September. I'm in transaction diligence, so as mentioned before, that's in the strategy and transaction service line, and I studied economics at university.
Perfect, thank you. And then Andy.
Hi there, I'm Andy. I'm currently in my first year of the graduate scheme in the tax team, more specifically in the BTS team, which is our business tax and service. And I studied economics at Bristol.
Perfect. So we were having a bit of a joke before that there's so many acronyms at EY. Sometimes we talk in acronyms, and there are often times, again, when someone says, Graham, what does that acronym mean at EY? You kind of sometimes have to do a bit of a double take, don't you, folks? And just kind of think to yourself, do I actually know what that stands for? But just to kick off, I think I'm aware that both of you joined EY, and initially you were interns. So can you, I guess, maybe just walk us through that initial bit? So Hanya, we'll come back to yourself. So why did you choose to apply to EY to do an internship? And can you just talk us through your experience of being an intern with EY?
Yeah, so I actually originally applied to the Insight Day. So as mentioned earlier, as well, one of the Spring Insight programs, the Discover EY programs. I did the Women in Transactions one in my first year of university, because I had EY as one of the employers I wanted to possibly work for in the future. And I thought it's a good opportunity for me to learn more about the company and the service line that I'm interested in. And I had to look around the website, saw what kind of fit my skills, and did a similar quiz as Graham mentioned before, that kind of shows you what skills match you with the correct service line. So I did that. It matched me with the transactions. So I applied to that program. That was, I think, a 1 or 2 day program. And then from that, I went through the assessment centre and the interview to then get onto the internship. And I was really glad to be able to do that, because I had something kind of secured for my second year of university, and I didn't have to worry too much about applying to too many other internships and things like that. And that was a 2-week internship online, unfortunately, because of COVID. But I did that in 2021. And although it was online and a bit shorter than you guys might have, it was very informative. I got to talk to a lot of different people in my team, partners, graduates from all different backgrounds as well. So I got to learn about how they made it to their position in EY and, how the team works together. We also did a case study as a group of 4 to kind of get a grip of kind of what work we would do if we joined as a graduate, which was also very insightful. And then that all kind of came together to then transfer onto the graduate scheme. So it was a very insightful program. I'm sure you guys would have an even better experience than I did because yours would be in person.
Yeah,
so,
no, absolutely. And I think it's just worth calling out as well that, again, incredibly trying times, and we all went through a lot. I think during COVID, it is worth calling out that EY still honoured all of our graduate programs, and we still ran internships. A lot of companies, again, not to speak ill of other companies, a lot of other companies cancelled their internships altogether, but we didn't at EY. And it's great. And I guess a bit of I'm going to put you on the spot here, but did that make a difference? As in, would you have felt differently about EY had we cancelled your internship? And do you think you still would have joined us, or would you have maybe thought differently? I guess.
Yeah, 100%. I think although I was disappointed, like it was going to be online, I was very glad that they were still doing that. And it was still going to be for 2 weeks because that was enough time for me to get to grips with understanding the company and the role and meeting enough people. I also actually did another internship following EY's one, and that was kind of hybrid. But I still ended up going with EY because I still felt like I connected more with the company, and I still learned enough to feel like that's something that I wanted to carry on with.
And did it make a difference for you in your final year, not having to have that added stress 100%. Of trying to get a grad program? Because we all know how busy the final year is. I'm just keen to hear your thoughts on that, and if it kind of impacted either your mental health or your approach, or you saw your friends were maybe in a slightly different position.
All those things. I think I had a lot more time to focus on my degree, and also I was running society at the same time, so I didn't have my all these different plates to handle. So one thing ticked off was like a real relief and a kind of a burden kind of out of the way as well. And I could see that a lot of other people were struggling to scramble around and find a job at the last second. So having that kind of thing ready for me at the end of my degree was really helpful for the rest of the things that are going on.
No, it's great. It's great to hear. And you go, thanks again. Appreciate your points there. So Andy, how about yourself? What was your experience in terms of applying to EY, joining us as an intern, and then getting a position on the graduate program as well?
So I did my internship the year after Hania. So my application process was quite similar. Application, experience day, and then the job offer. But luckily, I applied for the Luton office, which is one of our regional branches where I'm working currently as a graduate. But so I would say we were in 3 days a week and out of the office 2 days a week, which was really helpful for me because I had a few friends that had all online internships, and it was quite nice to feel like you're working for a business and really get to talk to your colleagues and kind of get to grips with what office life was like, which is really helpful. But so yeah, going into the office was quite nice. And just a thing about regional and London. So I chose to Luton just because I don't have to commute. I can still live at home, which was one of the things I wanted to do. And then the team's really nice. So yeah, there's a slightly different feels, but that's what I really enjoyed about Luton.
There is. I love the Luton team. There's a couple of partners and managers that I speak, and they're so helpful when it comes to my team and student recruitment. They always say, Graham, what events can we come and do at the local university? And to Andy's point, that's the great thing about it, right? Because commuting into London is got to be at least £5,000, right, a year. If you, I mean, I don't probably have to ask you, Andy. You work in finance, right? I'm sure you did the numbers. Did you look at it? Is that how much roughly it was if you wanted to?
Yeah, slightly more possibly. So
yeah, and that's a huge saving, right? A huge saving to be able to be based in Luton. That makes perfect sense. And again, just a similar question to Hania, that kind of approach of not having to look for a graduate job in your final year, I'm guessing was a pretty positive thing too.
It's very nice. It's nice not have to balance work and some laborious application processes, which sometimes take 2 or 3 days to complete. So it was really nice, to be able to focus on my work, focus on my studies, try and get the best out of university, really.
good. I'm really pleased to hear that. Now, the next question is as much for my benefit as everyone else on the call. Can you explain to us on the call what your service line does? And if you can give us, I guess, maybe just in a minute, what it's like to work in your service line, and maybe what some of the types of tasks, and maybe just a little bit of a sales pitch as to why people on the call today should consider working for your service line. So we'll go to Andy first on that one.
So yeah, I work in tax, and then under tax, I technically work in another team called tax. That's why I applied for my internship. Very interesting. And then I work in the business tax team, and under that, I work in the private client service team. So I work in corporation tax mostly, and why I picked it was because of the tax world, although it doesn't seem it, is very dynamic. It's moving, changing every year, and to adapt to that, you need some good problem solving. And it's not all numbers. It's reading laws. It's talking to people, talking to experts, not just in your team, but based all around the country. Not particularly in tax. It could be in other departments, and it's advising, trying to fix the problem that a company has, which is really interesting. And you get to work with some amazing clients. So during my summer internship, I worked with small UK startups to even some international companies which had slightly more complex issues.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. And from my understanding, the tax team, is to your point, it's quite collaborative, isn't it? Whenever I speak to people who work in tax, you get to make some quite good connections with other parts of the business, right? It
is, yeah. We work with people in London, people in Reading about indirect tax, because we're not experts about everything, and we have to fill in the form. So it's good to have some good collaboration, and you make some good friendships, even if they're over Zoom. Perfect. And are you kind of aligned at the moment? Do you tend to work in particular industries, or from your experience so far, has it been different industries? It's very different. So for regional offices, people think that maybe you're pigeonholed into doing small firms around Luton, but actually you're working with London, you're working with big firms outside of the UK even. So you can work with a range of people no matter where you're located sometimes. Perfect. Excellent. And then Hania, yourself, talk us through your section of strategy and transactions, because I always find this fascinating whenever not that tax isn't fascinating, Andy, and it absolutely is. I'm always really interested to hear about strategy and transactions as well. So maybe if you could just give us a little quick rundown of what it's like to be part of that service line.
So it also has 6 or maybe even more now sub-service lines. So I'm in transaction diligence, which is kind of sounds a bit complicated, which I guess it is, but it's financial due diligence for mergers and acquisitions. So essentially when 2 or more companies either split or join to become one big company, we kind of do the pre-transaction work to kind of work out whether this is a good transaction, whether our client's either selling or buying a company. We want to look from the perspective of the other side. So if our client is selling a company, we want to look on the perspective of the buyer's side and see if this company looks like a good investment for the buyer, and make sure that all the financials are kind of in check before the transaction goes ahead. So we might be doing anything from looking at how to raise funding, looking at carve-outs where one part of the company is sold, and we'd be provided with all different types of financial information, cash flows, profits and loss, balance sheets, which all sounds a lot of jargon, but it's basically just different numbers to tell us how the companies are performing. And then we kind of drill down on that and make sure we ask as many questions as possible from the client, and then present that to the client to make sure that they have a good overview of the transaction that's going to happen. And as Andy mentioned as well, it's different industries that we work with. So my team is in the retail and hospitality sector, and we have different teams that work across different sectors. But I've also worked on a real estate project and an agriculture project. And again, all of these are like international based as well. So a lot of things going on, a lot to learn, and no project is kind of the same.
And do you find that, I guess, just question for you both as well, do you find that it's really interesting, because to your exact point, every project is going to be different, isn't it? Because, I think whether it's from a tax perspective, whether it's from a merger and acquisitions perspective, it's never going to be the same. And does that, I guess that can only be a positive thing, right? Or do you think some people maybe don't enjoy that there's always that new element to it?
Yeah, I think for me, that's kind of like one reason why I did choose it, because I wanted something different all the time, because it's a new learning experience, and you're never going to feel bored or like you're doing the same thing over and over. It is kind of the same process in a sense. You apply what you've learned in previous projects to the new project, but the client is very different. How long the project goes on is like can be very short or long, and you're working with different people, so it's kind of like you constantly develop rather than always feeling like you're kind of doing a tedious process over and over again.
It's not Groundhog Day where the same thing's happening over and over again. Every day is different. Well, that's great to hear. Well, I'm just mindful we're coming up to time. This 15 minutes gone really quick. So what I'm just going to ask you both to do now, just before we wrap up, is I would like you both to give in 30 seconds your number one golden nugget or your top tip that you would give anyone who is looking at maybe applying for a job at EY. What would your top tip be, Andy, for someone who's interested in applying for a job at EY?
So I'll first research what makes a good a role or what you want to do, and then I would see if you're well fit for that. And then I would make sure you just read the current affairs around the set about EY and also around the service line you want to go into, and then just make sure you're confident, but you're yourself in the interviews and the experience days, and just make sure you listen well to other people as well.
Got that 4 golden nuggets in one, Andy. I'll give you that one as well. But I think as well, just on that bit, the point about the news articles is really, really important. And then, Hania, anything else to add? Any kind of other golden nuggets you would give at this stage?
I would echo everything that Andy said, but then also say, be yourself in the sense, like, don't say what you think they want you to say. Say what actually is true to you, because you'll find out that a lot of things you're saying actually match up to the values that the company already has. So don't try and pretend to like match up. If it doesn't match up, it's not going to be a good fit for you either. So just be honest.
Perfect. Love that. Some great advice. So apologies, Heather, we've gone 1 minute over. I'm sure we could have spoken for a much longer period, but I just wanted to thank Hania and Andy for their great responses as well. And we'll be able to get back to everyone's questions a little bit later in the week after this call. So thank you ever so much, and look forward to seeing your applications with EY in the coming months.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you from Career Map for everybody on the panel here today and everybody who's joined us. Like I said, everything will be emailed to you, so you're not going to miss out on anything at all. And yeah, wonderful. Thank you for a really insightful and engaging session. It's been great.
Perfect. All right. Good luck with your applications, everyone. Take care. Bye now.
Thank you.